No. Go back to RotoQL. So we're back here. Go back to Insights tabs. I think what we're trying to do is favorite Rodney Hood, favorite Derrick Rose. So I think favorite point bonus, that's something definitely want to bump down. So I think if you do just 2 points, we'll get a little more exposure to him. So generate those. Let's go back. So yeah, if I was going to try to play 100 lineups tonight in DraftKings, thanks, 954-292, whatever that is. So let's look at this, player exposures. So Derrick Rose still barely made it onto there. Wow, the stream is really lagging. Doing my best here, but I don't know. Internet is what internet is. But I think if we go here, I think Derrick Rose at 15% might be an interesting way to get exposure to him at a relatively low ownership percentage. And let's go back to JJ Barea. Don't see him here. So let's go back to projections. Yeah, Barea still at 24. Actually, I think Barea is you're gonna really want to have some exposure to him if you're playing tournaments tonight. Add him to the favorites. So let's go back to player exposures. Hopefully, we'll see some Barea here. I think as we went back, let's move him back up to 35%. See what that does to our lineups. So still Jordan Hill 99, Derek Favors 79. That's a little more than I feel comfortable with on Derek Favors. I definitely am fine with going 100% exposure on certain players, but not on a player like Derek Favors, especially on tonight with a lot of value. So I'm going to move him down to 35 too. So I think the big thing when you're playing 100 lineups, 50 lineups is to look at what your exposures are. What are the players you're targeting the most? Are you above the field? I'd expect a player like Russell Westbrook, Barea, I'll be in the 30s to the 40% tonight, along with Jeremy Lin. I think he'll be up there too. But definitely taking a stand on Jeremy Lin. I think he has a great matchup. He's going to get a ton of usage. Although you have Lamb and Batum. Batum's another big piece of injury information. I think he'll be a good play if he plays. Just because he's going to get a lot of additional usage with Kemba out. So this is the kind of the way that I look at how to build lineups. So you have your projections. I think in a sport like NBA, you really have to tinker with things to kind of feel what the field's ownership is going to be and what you personally think, because there's really hard to understand the interaction between players and how injuries affect things. I think that's something you really have to test yourself, figure out what you think. So that's what I'll do here. That's something that I'll do in the time between 6 and 7. But I think it's really important to kind of have a process here where you're really spending time evaluating your players and then building your lineups. If you can spend most of your time evaluating players rather than actually manually building a lineup, that's going to give you a huge edge. So now let's go into some of our things in the Players tab. So here we can take a look at lots of data. If you go to our Advanced tab, you can kind of get a lot of historical data kind of in an almost Excel-like sheet. So here you can see, let's sort this. So these are the players that have taken the most shots. What the fuck? The most shots season to date. So these are high usage players on the guard side. You look at a player like Derrick Rose. Takes a lot of shots. He's probably the least efficient player, taking lots of shots in the league at this point. We can go back. We can look at the highest usage players. So let's take a look at players whose usage is greater than 20. So hopefully that will filter those out soon. Although this is really lagging. Probably like 3 minutes, 4 minutes behind at this point on the actual live stream. So that's filtered these players out. So now you can see that you only have players that are above 20. So if we go back, let's take a look at like Kemba Walker. He has a usage of 22.7, which is pretty high. Let's compare that to Lin. So he's about 20. So when you think you're taking away 22% of the usage on the Hornets with Kemba out, you can want to kind of expect that Lin's production may go up about 20%. from his season to date performance, and he's going to get a few more minutes, although it's hard to expect him to play much more minutes. I think he's going to be in the 33 to 34. So if you go back, so Lynn's going to play a few more minutes at 22 fantasy points. So if you update that by 20%, you're going to get 27 fantasy points there, and you add a few minutes, and then you're going to get to like 30 to 31 points, which is kind of what we had him at. So that's the type of thing that I'll do to look at how you can update the projections before a player injury. Look at what the usage of the player is, and if you can update that. So yeah, so we have him at 31 points. So that's kind of how I would get there. If people have questions, can probably ask them now. I'll take a look at what they are and try to answer them. Yeah, and obviously I'm aware that it's fucking lagging. Wish it didn't, but it is what it is. So I think something here that might be interesting is just really take and play a lot of Boban. It's everyone's favorite player. So let's move that up to 10 points. Let's see what are the lineups we can build with Boban being part of it. I mean, Duncan's still out. San Antonio could blow out New Orleans, who's really been playing pretty awful, but even with 10 points, he's 10 points above the projections. He's gonna make it into a lot of lineups. So yeah, this is definitely not something I'd recommend, but if you're a person that wins a slam with Boban on your team, I think that's the fame itself would be probably worth it. Anyways, that's not a good exercise. So let's go back to Derrick Rose, Barea. Put those back to 2. Keep those exposures that we're at. So, I mean, I'd recommend doing things like this, getting your teams as you like them, have the exposures, then you can bulk save this. So, select all, saving 100 teams. So those are all saved now. So saved lineups. And then, yeah, so here we can take a look at all the lineups. It's slightly